My 4 years as the head of school at MPH have been really pretty incredible years. When I started, the school had just completed a year-long celebration of 150 years. And so this was a place that had a long and distinguished history. We had some successes along the way. There were some challenges along the way. As I became more familiar with the people in this community, my colleagues, our educators, people who were leading the school, it was obvious that everybody's commitment was to supporting students. This is very much a student-centered school. It's a school that puts the mission right in the middle of every conversation we have, where we have a set of core values that were developed during that first year that really help guide all of our interactions and the way we think about the work that we do. MPH has this unique and really distinctive format, which is pre-K through 12. So we have students here who are 3 years old, and our oldest students might be 16 or 17 years old. And so that's a powerful platform when you think about education and how do we take full advantage of that range and development of young people, and what are the particular areas of focus that we have for our younger learners, our older learners. And we want to capture a little bit of that so that we can save it for posterity, and we can also share with people who are interested how it is that we work through what was essentially a very difficult time, but it was also a time that created opportunities for amazing growth and progress. So I want to make sure that you hear some voices of the people who helped lead the school and what we've done to create a really great experience for our students.
So in the lower school, we feel very lucky to have the bandwidth and the time and the small class size to approach each child as the whole child, who they are, what they need, where are their challenges, where are their aptitudes, and how can we help them build from there. So often I think that when a parent approaches an elementary education for their child, their only experience with lower school is their own experience. And we have to account for the body of research that has informed now in our future and what we've learned about children's brains. So we don't want the classroom or the teaching to look like it did when we were kids. We want there to be evidence of that change and the best practices that we can apply to their education. So the lower school at MPH follows a body of research that's informed by the science of reading, and daily explicit reading instruction has shown to be a game changer in children's lives. There's that idea that if we just surround children with books, they will learn to read, but it has been disproven countless times, and the reality is that children who may have been lucky enough to learn to read without access to those books will be stronger, more confident readers if they have that explicit instruction. And children that would not have had that access get those essential building blocks so that they then can read, join their peers, and become comfortable and confident readers. Similarly, when we approach math in the lower school, there is a great deal of explicit instruction that's guided by the brain research. Children need to see and touch and feel and understand the numbers in a real-world application. The idea of just sitting down and doing worksheets is not effective when it comes to math instruction. Kids need to put their hands on things, count, work it out, feel comfortable with making mistakes, check in with their peers. They need that time to really experiment and dig in and discuss math concepts. And the way that our teachers teach the class is centered in how they ask questions, asking those questions that probe children to think deeply about numbers, push themselves to places they wouldn't have necessarily have gone, and then collaborate with peers in an environment where they feel comfortable and can take a risk. That's how we approach math. So there's a lot of manipulatives out, there's a lot of hands-on, there's a lot of grappling and talking through concepts. It's the journey of being a mathematician, not the destination. Challenges are natural to us as human beings, and so allowing the kids to make mistakes, see who they are, and then really tap into their strengths helps them to be confident and comfortable as they move through their world and their learning environment. So we think of them as people who are valued, who inevitably will make mistakes, and they're in a supportive environment where they can take risks and be exposed to a variety of ways of thinking. It's important that each child feels that they can be their best self in our classroom each day.
So when we're designing our middle school experience here at Manlius Pebble Hill, it obviously starts with the needs of middle school students. This is an age, this is a time where there's an enormous amount of range in physical growth, intellectual growth. Students are discovering at this age who they are. Their peers take on an increased importance. And this is also a time where they really are starting to discover themselves intellectually, starting to think just beyond the concrete and look at more abstract concepts and how everything fits together. It's a time when students are exhibiting greater independence from their parents, independence from the adults in their lives. We want to give them responsible, constructive ways for self-exploration and exercising their agency. And with their greater intellectual capacity, it's also a great time to challenge them, to have them think a little bit beyond some of the concrete, to start to have them see the connections between some of the concepts and the content. So how does all this inform our priorities? Well, for one thing, we want to make sure we are strengthening connections. In the middle school, we just started offering electives, which is an opportunity for students to explore their passions further. And we also have a really robust clubs program. It takes place during the school day. It's a great opportunity for students to, again, pursue a passion or maybe try something new. It's also a great opportunity for students of like-minded interests to come together. So the clubs program really builds some strong social connections, which are really important in the middle school. As students are going from class to class and have different teachers, especially as they enter in 6th grade into the middle school, it's really important that we have somebody who's tracking their overall progress, and that's where the advisor comes in. We built into our schedule time each day where a student has FaceTime with their advisor, who tends to be a teacher in that grade. And this teacher is responsible for not just looking at the academic piece and, how are you doing in this class and all, but looking at the whole child. How's your day going? How was the soccer game that you had the other day? So it's really important that we have somebody who oversees that for each child. As students progress through the middle school, they are gaining increased independence. They are taking the tools that we've provided them, that they have developed over these years. And one of the things that we're looking at right now is following the model of our upper school capstone and possibly taking a look at an 8th grade capstone, which again, gives them the opportunity to explore their passions, take all the skills that they've acquired during the middle school, and then present it back and share with the community.
As students start the upper school, they're looking to develop their autonomy and authenticity both in and out of the classroom. We have lots of experiences that let them do that, but one in particular is the senior capstone. The senior capstone is a project they start in their junior year, it goes throughout their senior year. It's independent, research-driven, and demonstrates that MPH students, as they approach graduation, are critical thinkers, responsible citizens, and have a foundation for becoming lifelong learners. So, by having the senior capstone, we see that our graduates fulfill our mission, which is also to inspire students to think critically, act responsibly, and discover a passion for lifelong learning. The senior capstone also captures a crucial aspect of our academic experience, emphasizing learning processes over socialized outcomes. So, starting in 9th grade, all 9th graders take a core health seminar, whether they're new to the school or they've been here since pre-K. And that core health seminar emphasizes putting the core values into action through a learning process. And that also is applied in 9th grade courses such as biology and comparative civics and government. In those classes, throughout the 9th grade curriculum, students reset their academic expectations so they can understand how MPH's core values of authenticity, respect, curiosity, kindness, and agency help them build a foundation for a learning process, an approach to learning that contributes to the outcomes that they want. This commitment to the learning process led us at MPH to develop an advanced independent curriculum, advanced courses that we design ourselves that enable students to pursue authentic learning experiences in college-level classes. With these advanced courses, students demonstrate their learning in projects, in papers that emerge from their authentic experiences, their authentic engagement with the course material, not a standardized test. In this way, like our pre-K classes, our lower and middle school classes, our most advanced and unique courses in the upper school are student-centered. Here at MPH, student-centered learning encourages students to engage with the course material in ways that lead them to take ownership of their learning. That's what gives them that sense of autonomy and authenticity that's so important to the MPH experience. But the student-centered focus isn't just in the classroom. It goes beyond the classroom, with off-campus student internship experiences, opportunities to participate in managing the campus shop, starting new clubs, and even leading advisory sessions. I often say that the most important things we do at MPH don't receive a grade, and that student-centered emphasis defines the MPH experience both within and beyond the classroom.
Student life at MPH is about the important things that we do that don't receive grades. These include clubs, community time, class meetings, advisory and volunteering, as well as special events throughout the school year. All of these programs have their own inherent benefits, but they also serve a larger purpose in an MPH education. Recent mind-brain research makes clear that students need certain conditions to be ready to make the most of the classroom experience. Things like feeling safe, being emotionally regulated, feeling connected, feeling seen and heard. And these ideas are reflected in our core values. As teachers, we use techniques like emotional check-ins or journaling or quick brisk walks even in class to reinforce students' awareness of their own minds and emotions, as well as how their behavior impacts others. Built into our school day are breaks from class time for kids to relax and gather themselves, to meet with supportive advisors, and also to engage in meaningful service work at school. What we've found in our pre-K through 12 environment is that everyone benefits when older and younger students come together. During our yearly Winter Carnival festival, for instance, we added events like a sled pull, where lower schoolers sat in sleds pulled by our upper school students and raced, and ended up reversing roles by the end purely through their own inspiration, which was great. That experience brought such joy for all involved. It gave lower schoolers empathetic, kind role models to emulate, even as it brought out those best qualities in the older students involved. The Helping Hands program, for instance, also foregrounds those kinds of interactions, lower and upper school together. Some of our 11th and 12th graders volunteer weekly in lower school classrooms, guiding, mentoring, and playing along with our youngest students, sometimes tying the occasional shoe. Our advisory program also contributes to this connection. It delivers a curriculum that captures both social and emotional instruction and exploration of relevant contemporary issues. Occasionally, we also bring older and younger kids together. Just before break, for instance, upper and middle school advisory groups paired up to work in small mixed groups to strategize for the sort of unique social situations that can arise over a holiday break. Things like, dealing with loneliness, being away from friends. These specific events and programs, along with our core health and advisory curricula, help our students establish the healthy habits of body and mind that will help them thrive in our classes and beyond.
What an incredible privilege it is for me to come to work every day and work with individuals who care as deeply as they do about the life, the welfare, the well-being of our children. It reminds me of my experience when I was interviewing for this job, and I had opportunities to connect with our MPH students. And when I asked groups of students the question, what is it about MPH that matters most to you, that you value most? It was almost as though they had rehearsed their answers. And to a person, and I don't think there really was any deviation, each student talked about the relationship between students and adults who care deeply about their students, get a chance to really know them well, and they care about their growth and development. And now, as I've had this privilege of working at MPH, it really does come down to exactly that. MPH is a special place, and I know that our school will continue to thrive as we go forward.